whoever's ready.
Hello Warriors, and welcome to an actual Conan Exiles
Ready?
training room video. This commentary will be about the subject of long fights and why they are important for developing stronger players. Let's begin by talking about the setting. I was invited to a private dueling server by my new friend Chris to do some training. This video is going to consist of one of the duels in question, mainly since it encapsulated the meaning of a long duel. There is a lot you can learn from your opponents and players in general from long engagements, as well as what you can learn about yourself. In this video, I'm going to go over a few of those things that I've experienced during the duel with Easy Farming, the guy you're watching now. Also, if you are interested in any dueling content, raiding content, and extensive guides for Conan Exiles and other combat games, you should join the Legion and subscribe. I try to keep my uploads up to date and full of important information to get to players to the next level. So, let's begin. Let's start by talking about why it's important that you have long fights. For one, it teaches you how to read your opponent and devise a strategy to exploit their weaknesses. It's important that when you engage with someone, you do it with caution. Get a feel for their habits, their techniques, and understand their tendencies. Do they favor movement to their right or to their left? Are they trying to bait you with a roll stab, or are they just trying to string you up for a combo? It's important that you try to get into your opponent's head and figure out their tactics. Most tactics can be exploited if you execute the right movements at the right time. For example, if I want to bait for a rolling hammer attack, I set up with a heavy to light spear combo. If I want someone to aggress and make a mistake, I bait them by being passive. The simplicity of getting your opponent to do what you want them to do is by signaling and telegraphing what you want your opponent to see, basically. Another thing is active-mindedness. In these long engagements, you have to be thinking. Obvious, right? Most people completely zone out and commit solely to what their opponents give them. Granted, a duel can be a give-and-take relationship, but don't be strung along unwillingly. You need to be engaging your opponent with the intent of taking more from them than you're giving. I'm not talking about trading mindlessly. What I'm saying is engage in a manner in which you benefit long term. That means focus on depleting their resources. Exploit obvious weaknesses. Move at a pace that you're comfortable with and fight dishonestly. By dishonest fighting, I mean show but never tell, and vice versa. That's the key to a deceptive fighter. Another important thing, don't think dishonestly about yourself. What I mean is, don't talk about your flaws as an inevitability and don't let them overwhelm you. We all experience this at times when we feel stress. It's important that you maintain mental discipline and that you do not let your thoughts stray from your end objective. The goal is to master oneself in these engagements. The victory is simply a product of constant mental stability. What I'm saying is that you have the option of accepting your flaws and making up for them, denying them outright out of sheer will and rising above them, but never letting them overtake you. Now keep in mind, you can't beat everyone, but the goal is to surpass where you were yesterday. That's the main focal point for these duels. Okay, let's get back into the core mechanics of combat and let's get away from the philosophical stuff and the mental gymnastics. One of the main components that I feel is important for long engagements is accuracy. And honestly, if I had one wish, it would be to never miss, or at least land 90% of my attacks. As you can see throughout the footage, there are points when I attempted to set up combos and I just missed, or I try to bait my opponent into getting counter-stabbed and I still missed. A lot of those attempts I felt as if they were in vain just because I needed them to land so I could set up a combo. Accuracy, in my opinion, is literally one of the most important things you can have as a spear fighter, mainly because they can make or break your combos. What I would suggest if you're in a situation similar to this one is to take your time, take a deep breath, and focus on your setup. Try and focus on baiting your opponent to position themselves so you can strike them more accurately. Don't get discouraged and play to your strengths. And that's another part of the segue. Another thing is controlling the pace of the fight. I'm not saying be passive or overly aggressive. What I'm saying is You get to choose when to be passive, and you get to choose when to be aggressive. Determine when you feel it's necessary to press on someone and when to give up some space. Like I said, that's all a part of the deceptive game as being a deceptive fighter. That's what you learn in the long term, in those longer engagements, in those long fights. Because you really get to learn about your opponent and the tendencies of other players. Not everyone fights the same, but some people do fight similar to others, or they have similar techniques, and that's this, that, and the fourth. Like I said before, dueling is a give and take relationship. This also applies to 2v2s, 3v3s, and so on and so forth. Large scale battles. It's essentially the same. In essence, it's all really the same. One can be many and many can be one. In essence, it's all the same. So let's go back to it. Choosing when to engage and how you engage determines the outcome. Pay attention to favored weapons, understand your opponent's playstyle, and most importantly, don't get too comfortable because a duel or a battle can change in an instant. The last thing and most important thing I wish to talk about is constant practice. If you intend to engage in long fights, I guarantee it will translate well into large-scale battles. This means diversify your loadout. Miyamoto Musashi, the famous samurai of ancient Japan, he teaches that you must not favor one weapon, but to have a familiarity with all weapons and disciplines. Don't allow any stigmas to prevent you from trying something new or something you dislike, because I guarantee your enemies will use them against you. Honestly, I don't like horses and I don't like katanas that much either in the state that they're in, but since I've returned to the PvP scene, the official scene, the boosted server scene, those exist. You have to be able to fight that stuff, and you have to know the combos. You have to know the spacing. You have to know how to fight against a hammer of the whale or a giant's finger bone. You have to get used to all those things. So don't allow any stigmas that you have against them to prevent you from using them. And also, keep in mind that the game is fun. A lot of people have fun just doing their own thing. Moving on. Make sure to study other players and assimilate their strategies and techniques with your own. Try to learn all you can. Try to learn all that you can so you can bring more to the table when you engage with other duelists. Because not everyone fights the same. Constantly refine your technique in these longer engagements, and I can guarantee that you'll see improvements long term. So that's pretty much it. I want to say thanks again for watching. I like doing these commentary videos. I would like to know if you guys like these longer commentary videos. If so, comment down in the comment section and tell me what you think. Also, if you're new to the channel, slap that sub button and join the Legion of Flawless Warriors, where we share ideas, builds, guides, and everything alike. Like I said, thanks again for watching, guys, and keep on slaying. Later.
Want to roll forward. Touch. Hab's gemerkt.
Verderbt das, Alter, die haut echt rein. Gerade Bandage benutzen.
Bin das. Verdammte Axt, in dem falschen Moment die Bandage benutzt, auf jeden Fall.
Oh, jumped out, fuck. That was unfortunate.
Ja.
Alright, back.
Stimmt immer. Lieber Bewegung auf 1 weg, ne?
Was der Fighting? How long does it go? Yo.
Ich trage ja in der Rüstung, aber... Also ich komme auf Stärke 4, Vitalität 4, Beweglichkeit 1, Stehvermögen 3, Belastung 1. Hä? Ich spiele Hermes Rolling, Brustwehr des Kommandeurs, makellose Bärenschaman Handschuhe, Bärenschaman Oberschenkelschutz und Bärenschaman Stiefel. Doch. Nee.
What's up? Good. Probably gonna cook today. Cool. Do whatever you want. I'll probably be cooking. Yep. Yep. Between 1 and 2. GG. I was hoping I'd get you with that. It was a good fight. That was a good fight. GG. I was down to like 2 herbal, 2 heals. What you have left?